Dewch i ddathlu Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Dewch i ddathlu Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Canu dawnsio hwyl a sbri, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Canu dawnsio hwyl a sbri, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi.
No, welcome to Tales from Wales. It's a podcast about Wales. We're going to cover everything you've ever heard about Wales. Welcome.com/its website, Wales. There. We're going to go really fast. Yeah. I'm Frank, you're Jack. We're going to go today. Sorry.
For the listeners, we were just talking about how pressed for time Franco is on this little record. So that's why we're doing a speed run this time.
Yeah, so how are you? Sorry, I'll come.
Yeah, good, mate. Good, yeah, really good.
Yeah, okay, cool. So no, that's stressing me out even more. Fuck. Oh, I'm just busy.
Take a breather, mate. This is a safe place.
I've got a vimp with my moustache. Let me just de-vimp my stash.
What? What's the colds?
What? No.
Vicks?
Vimpto.
Oh, Vimpto. Gee, I was thinking, this on a bloody cold.
No.
Like with some fucking Vicks in your
no.
to clear the sinuses.
I gulped too greedily a pint of Vimpto prior to recording.
It's the only thing that gets your blood pressure down these days, isn't it?
Mate,
that sweet Vimto.
So, I'm like outside of work. Like, I'm out Friday, I'm out Saturday, I'm out Sunday, I'm out Monday, I'm in Tuesday, I'm out Wednesday, I'm out Thursday, I'm out Friday. I got an Airbnb staying of mine next Saturday, and that's one day to myself where I can play Starfield like a fucking loser, and it's just stressy. Then work's like hectic as fuck, and then we do the pod, and it's just, and I gotta satisfy the woman. Sorry.
My manly duties must be done.
My fiance duties, manage.
Mate, sounds like if you were a bloody candle, you'd be burning from your gob in your ass, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm leaking wax everywhere. I have said though, I've booked in 2 weeks' time. I've got the whole weekend where Emma goes to a hen party. I'm not even gonna drink. I'm just gonna be fucking playing Xbox, chilling, just like recalibrating myself.
Just soaking it up. Yeah,
me and you both said we've gone too hard recently, haven't we, in life?
Oh, yeah, that was my. I didn't have an anecdote for the day. I was just going to say we've hit the booze a bit hard lately, haven't we? And we're both to the point where we're both going, should we just slow down a little bit? And for us, that's a pretty hefty achievement.
Hence why we're doing a lunchtime record. And I think the summer was just like every like twice a week. It was like two going out twice a week, and just doing too much. So I'm fucking buzzing for it.
Adds up and it accumulates. The poison accumulates in your body. It's not good for you. But the last 2 weekends I've had a 3-dayer and a 2-dayer respectively, and fuck me, did I feel it? Like finally, my body's like, you've took it too far this time. It's too much. It can't bear the burden.
Never too much. Never too much. Sometimes too much.
Sometimes, lately a lot too much. But I mean, we've still got a few benders on the cards, haven't we? That we've both said, we're going to see them out. Obviously, my word is my bond. I'm not going to bail on them.
I did say to you, I feel like I'm in Baston, the boys of Baston, and hunkered down in the trenches, ready to see out the next few cold winters before.
Just a few more shells later, and then we could finally emerge from the foxhole. Yeah, great.
Yeah, not at all dramatic or
self-imposed as well.
Yeah,
firing mortars at ourselves.
Friendly fire! There's another Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, give me a couple more shots, so I'm not quite done yet. Then let me leave.
Yeah. Is there a Skittle bomb coming in? Take cover!
Yeah.
Well, should we crack on? Because, we got a bit of admin to go through.
Well, I've got, I'll do a quick review. It's a very short one, but we do like doing the reviews on this.
Oh, so this one I like from this one, I think. We had the long one. This is just the short one, well. Yeah. Okay, all right.
I thought we'd save the long one for next episode. Because that's a sweet one. That warms the heart, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is isn't a heartwarmer, but it is a good one. It's it's by a guy named Silurian.
But I like
Not
how he's
to be
written
old
it.
Celts there.
He's written it out like
Yeah.
phonetically because he's pissed off with how
Yeah,
I get it wrong.
SIL dash
Silurian.
dash RRAIN. Silurian, you dumb
Fucking
prick.
idiot.
And Silurian has given us this lovely review from Apple Podcasts, and the title of the review is "This is a Review." Nice, sort of flicking things on their head there. Nicely done. 5 stars. Nice to listen to some history by people that aren't boring academic nonsense. So thank you, Silurian. That is a very high praise.
We're not
Might have that
boring.
framed.
We're not academic. Thank God we're not nonsense.
Nonsense, yeah. Boring academic nonsense. Well,
Yeah,
I just
that
like to
is good.
think of him like he's been sat there on Spotify listening through loads of history podcasts going, no, boring, no,
Nonce.
academic, no, nonsense, and then just finally got to us, and we finally cut the mustard.
Oh, he was like not
refreshing.
Pinocchio. Who's that girl? Blonde girl.
Oh,
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks.
He's like Goldilocks going, this one's not boring, but they are nonsense. So
Yeah, too boring, too academic, too
too
nonsense,
noncy.
but this one's just right.
who's that blonde girl? Who's that
Not
little
Pinocchio, what's the
rat?
other one? You say as if there's only 2 to choose from, Pinocchio or the blonde.
You know those mates, Pinocchio and Blonde? Oh, I don't know, eh?
Oh, I think we should probably say a thank you as well to a Reese Norris and Delwina Hurd, because they very
Oh, they're the
generously
first to...
sent us some dollar baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've made it possible for us to genuinely say we're professional podcasters now, because we've technically been paid for it.
Yeah,
So
how kind is
I'll
that?
take that. Thank you very much.
Because we got
Yeah,
this thing,
amazing.
there's a link in the episode description where you can chuck a couple of coppers our way to help with like the paying for the pod, because it costs money to host it and all that fucking boring stuff. So it's just a little helpful incentive. Well, not incentive, just helpful.
No pressure.
No,
Because,
but if you want
we're
it, if you wanna
dancing
join in.
monkeys and we do it for free. But if
Although,
we just do it for enjoyment.
The one we had from Reese did say it's beer money, so I think we have to take that as beer money. You know?
Well, yeah, I love that you said it alluded to being beer money, because you said it was thirsty work. That you've got. You said beer money, didn't you?
said
That's what
beer
you said in the
money,
description.
beer
Get a
tokens.
can with it, boys.
Yeah, but
Don't
that's
worry,
very, very
Reece,
generous.
We'll spend
so
it wisely.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr. Thank you both.
Yeah, deal, guys.
Yeah, should we crack on? Because I really am up against it.
I can't tell you how much I am up against it, so can we hurry the fuck up?
I put my Teams on Do Not Disturb, but I can just see it flashing at the bottom, fucking vibrating.
The tune just going straight in your ear constantly. All right, well, we'll get on with it. And I'm going to be muddling through today, and we're going to be talking about the history of Dewi Sant, or St David, as he's known in English, the patron saint of Wales, for whom every 1st of March we celebrate Dydd Gŵr Dewi, or you guessed it, St David's Day, often symbolised by wearing a daffodil, the national flower of Wales, or a leek, which apparently he and his monks used to pin to their hats while they were working, which is a little bit of whimsy I didn't know about.
Isn't the story that he used to give soldiers the Welsh leek so they could identify themselves in battle?
Oh, mate, I don't know where you're getting your facts from. All right? The 2 sources that were the first Googles online I saw, all right, this is what it said, that they used to wear them in their little hats, and he wrote a letter to the king about some shit about leeks as well.
Let me have a little look. Yeah, it's thought the patron
not
saint of
too
Wales.
pressed for time to bloody correct me.
But it is thought that the patron saint of Wales, St David, told Welsh soldiers to wear a leek on their helmets so they could better spot each other in the battle against Saxons who wore similar armour. And apparently that tactic worked and secured the Welsh army a great victory.
Well, there we go. I stand corrected, and I guess you'll take it from here, is it, mate? Is that how we're going with this now?
Yeah, but then someone else said it was against the French, so I think let me have a...
As we always say, we're not about the details on this pod, are we?
No, apparently in 1633 AD, the Welsh were sorely pressed by invading Saxons. The battlefield, they met at the Battle of Heathfield, and it was filled with leeks. So to distinguish themselves from the enemy, they put leeks on their head. But that's according to something. So that could be a reason as well.
Let's just say both are correct. I like that. There's nothing wrong on the pod, is there? It's like, can't be wrong about it.
Can't be wrong about it.
They always say history's subjective, don't they?
And
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, they do say history's always been rewritten, and by two idiots, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we'll go with that. Anyway, Dewi was a Welsh bishop in a place called Manu in the 6th century. Manu
I just got to say, one more leak thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The leaks.
Apparently, as well, the leek became a national symbol of Wales after the Battle of Crecy, where the Welsh archers fought against French soldiers in another leek field in northern France. The leeks was one of the caps of the Welsh people to remember the bravery of the archers, which was become an annual tradition on St. David's Day. So, again, that's three separate sources all saying three separate things, so fucking...
Yeah,
it's
take
hard.
your pick.
Yeah, take your
Whichever
pick.
one you
of
like
them.
the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, leek equals Wales, all right? Just bear that in mind. That's all that matters. So, where was I? So, Dewi was a bishop in a place called Manu in the 6th century. Manu is now just called, very unoriginally, St. David's, after him. Couldn't think of anything better than that. And a side note about St. David, but he was actually the grandson of a guy called Ceredig ap Cinedda. Ceredig was originally from the Brythonic kingdom of Gododin, which is in modern-day Scotland. Keen-eared listeners might have remembered us mentioning the Gododin in the King Arthur episode, I believe. They were a bunch of mythological Celtic warriors that fought against the Angles, if I remember correctly. But anyway, Ceredig came down from what was called at Hen Ogledd, or the Old North, the Gododin, and he helped fight off some Irish invaders in North Wales way back in the day. So, a reward for his bravery in battle, he was gifted land that would later be known as Ceredigion, named after him. So, yes, exactly. So, old Dewi was of good Welsh stock, basically. He was born in a place called Hen Fynu in Ceredigion, the lands of his forebears, and became known early in his life as a teacher and preacher, founding settlements of monks and churches in Wales, Brittany, and Dumnonia, which was what the ancient Britons called Devon. St David's Cathedral in Pembrokeshire would later be built in between 1880 and 1220 on a monastery he founded down there. So that's where St David's Cathedral is today. In 550 AD, then, is when he started getting a bit more notoriety for himself as a devout opposer of, I'm going to say this wrong now, Pelagianism. Yeah, we'll go with that, Pelagianism, which is the belief that there was no excuse for sinful behaviour and that all Christians, regardless of their station in life, should live unimpeachable, sinless lives. So I started reading a bit more about this Pelagianism, but it gets very, very dry very, very quickly.
Well, so he thinks you're allowed to be fallible?
Yeah, so from what I gathered, St. David was of the notion that because of original sin, eating the apple in Eden, yada, 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 people inherently have sin within them, and that being a good Christian is about living your life resisting sin.
Yeah.
Whereas this Pelagianism basically says, like, you're not allowed to commit sins at all or whatever, and it's not a part of the workings. I don't bloody know. Like I said, it was dull, man. I don't really give a shit about like the theology side of things. I can't be arsed reading about it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah. So anyone who wants to read into that, you have to do it off your own backside.
Why don't you pray to us or something, mate? Pray to your gods and find out yourself.
Maybe if I had a few more bloody donations, am I right? I'd give a shit. I'd actually pray. No. Anyway, yeah, if I'm wrong on that, like I said, tough shit, because this will be recorded and edited. Yeah, this will be recorded and edited by the time anyone lets me know, so it's too late to do anything about it. Anyway, because of this opposition towards this way of thinking, this Pelagianism, his fellow monks elected him what they call the primate of the region. Nothing to do with monkeys, I checked, but it's basically he was head honcho in Caerleon because of it. Now, I don't know how many of our listeners know, but in order to become an official saint, you actually have to perform at least 2 recorded miracles. 2,
is it? I thought I knew there's 2. Yeah, all right.
So I use the term recorded very loosely as well, because it's it's the typical thing. It's funny how miracles and video recordings can't seem to coexist in the same time zones, and all this magical bullshit stops as soon as you have the ability to capture any of it. But anyway, Dewi looked at the sainthood checklist, saw the 2 miracle requirement, and said, "Fucking watch this, lads." So I'll list all through them now, and there's much more than 2. Just FYI, an overachiever. So the most famous miracle was when he was preaching to a large crowd at a place called Synod y Brefi, The crowd was so large, not everyone could hear him, and so, as you do, Dewi raised the ground beneath his feet and raised a hill underneath him, lifting him higher so that his voice could carry further. A white dove also flew down and landed on his shoulder, just for a bit of like cinematic, I don't know, extra flair there.
And you hear,
and so this is where, yeah,
from the
exactly,
clouds
and the clouds parted, all that shit.
the cows.
So this is where the clouds. Did I say cows? Clouds, I meant. Apologies. Yeah, miracle number 2, parted some cows.
Bovile Moses.
Very good.
Parting of the cows.
Where he lifted this hill is now where the town of Llanddewi Brefi stands today.
Llanddewi.
Supposedly.
It's named after him.
Llanddewi Brefi, sorry. Yeah, that's it. So that's a bit big time, I thought. Shut up or I'll make a fucking hill. Yeah. Essentially, everyone quieting down.
Sounds quite
another of his miracles. It does a bit, doesn't it? Bit up himself. But another one of his miracles was when he restored a blind man's sight as he baptized him. That's all right, and nice and sweet, and not a bad deal for the blind man.
Pretty good.
Pretty good deal. Miracle number 3 was when he managed to bring a dead child back to life by splashing his face with tears. I don't know why this isn't number 1 on the list, to be honest.
Sounds like he killed a kid and then luckily brought him back like really fastly.
Yeah, don't. Jesus God, don't tell him, don't tell.
Yeah, he's shaking him, but actually gave him CPR whilst he was crying. And they went, miracle. Like
when you used to like batter your sibling and then you go run into your mum and you're like, no, it's fine, shut up. But I think reversing a child death is probably I'd say a bigger feat than making a hill, but then it's probably not as cool looking, is it? So fair enough. That's why it's number 3. Miracle number 4. That's right, double the amount needed. Was when his neighbours were struggling to find water during a drought. Dewi stuck his staff into the ground, and then a fully flowing spring of water sprung from the earth. So good man to have living next door.
I don't think Wales has ever had a drought in its history. I think we're never far from a puddle of mud.
Yeah, it comes from the sky in here, doesn't it? That's the thing. A lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Miracle number 5 and 6 now, they go hand in hand. These happened when some of St. David's monks turned against him and decided to poison his food. Seems like a real turn for the bucks from a monk dedicated to life of the faith, and then let's poison the fucker. That's
a bit wild.
I don't know why. I'll tell you later why I think this happened though. It'll come evident, but just hold that thought for now.
Okay.
So the monks are planning a poisoning of their lovely St. Dewi, or Dewi Sant even, and a friend of Dewi's in Ireland, Saint Scythin, foresaw the betrayal in a dream and rushed to travel to Wales to warn him. I feel like it's kind of pointless back in those days of going like, oh God, my friend's imminent demise. Let me take like a few days on boat to go and warn him.
Try and find him because he might have moved anyway.
Yeah, because I have no idea where he could possibly be. Anyway, it turned out that there were no ships available to take Saint Scythin over to Wales. But luckily enough, miracle number 5, a sea serpent turned up and took him to Wales.
Oh.
Yeah. And I feel like someone was on the fucking communion wine when they were thinking this one up. I reckon. Oh yeah, the sea serpent. Why the fuck not? Anyway, the sea serpent was obviously very quick because Saint Scythin got to St. David in time to warn him. To the monk's surprise, old Dewi Sant did nothing about the plot to poison him, and when his food came, he tore his bread into 3 pieces. He fed one piece to a dog, another to a crow, and both animals died instantly. He then blessed the last piece and ate it himself. He chewed and swallowed the bread and was completely unharmed. It doesn't say anything more than that, really. So I'm assuming the monks that wanted to poison him just said sorry and then just fucking got on with their chores. Let me clean up the dead dog and the dead crow. I don't know. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it doesn't say like why if the monks were like, oh, we still don't like you. They just, I don't know. I guess they got back to it. So that's
I didn't
6.
know that they had a. So when's Dewi Sant? When was he born again?
It was 6th century. So what's that? That's 500s, isn't it? Yeah. That is right. No, I always get the century thing wrong. Yeah, mid 500s, I think it was. It doesn't give an exact date because they're not too sure. Even though they wrote a lot of stuff down back then, especially the sort of clergy, they don't know his exact birth date. But yeah, he was a sort of mid 500s. So yeah, when was I now? Miracle number 7. Yeah, so 6 miracles in, we're still not done. Miracle 7. happened when a jealous ruler sent slaves to batter Dewi and his monks for some reason. But as they descended upon the monastery,
a bit of a troublemaker, this old Dewi.
Yeah, something's there's no smoke without fire, is there?
Yeah.
Someone wants to poison him, someone wants to batter him. These to be fair, he sent slaves as well.
I just gotta say this: every time someone says "no smoke without fire," I always think of the autobiography of Dave Jones, who was a Cardiff City manager, whose book was "No Smoke, No Fire." He used to get called a paedophile all the time.
Oh yeah,
but I thought he wrote a book called "No Smoke Without Fire," like it was a little
the tell all the fans have been waiting for.
Yeah, I remember when I was like, "What the fuck is that?" So sorry, just had to. I can't. It's like a brainworm. Whenever someone says "No smoke without fire," I just think of Dave Jones.
Can't help but it flash up in the mind. Yeah. Where was I? So this ruler, jealous ruler, sent slaves to batter Dewi and his monks. But as they descended upon the monastery, they became so weak they couldn't even stand. The ruler's cattle also all dropped dead. The ruler then, realising his mistake, came to Dewi asking for forgiveness, and Saint David obliged, at which time all the ruler's dead cattle came back to life, and his slaves regained their strength. It seems like a strange one, that, but it was in the notes, so what can I say?
Well, it does seem he's a suspicious little man. Are you right there?
Yeah. So I was just taking a swig of my tea instead of my beer, which makes me sad.
Yeah, it sounds like you hated it. Oh, God.
It's just, where's the alcohol? My brain just can taste it. So, last one now. Finally, last miracle, number 8. This was a bit more boring, but he travelled to Bath, where a poisoned spring there was ailing the locals. He dipped his staff into the water and then transformed it into a healing pool that could fix small ailments. I don't know what consists of a small ailment or when a small ailment becomes a big one, but it could heal your small ailments. So yeah, the guy needed 2. He went, fuck that, I'm doing 8, apparently.
Yeah, he lost me at the serpent one.
Yeah, something tells me, there's no record of it, wasn't there? Wasn't there a record of the serpent that took him across the sea? Bloody chances, a lot of them. So, up until now, you're probably thinking, Dewi Sant, he seems like a pretty cool dude, pretty good bloke. Bit of a fucking Bible basher or whatever, but he sounds all right, doesn't he? St. David, though, he prescribed that monks had to pull the plough in the fields themselves, without the use of animals, and could only drink water and only bread with salt. Every evening, the monks were to spend their time in prayer, reading or writing. No possessions were allowed whatsoever, and even to say something like, my book, would be considered a massive offence. He also specifically forbade his followers from eating any meat or drinking any beer. So to be honest, I can sort of see why the monks were like, let's poison this fucker and get us in like a more of a Friar Tuck type, you know?
I would be
I was sort of on his side.
I'd be such a... I think I'd make a great Friar Tuck.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be my role as an old, like... an old, like, if I went back to Owen Glyndŵr, I'd want to go back and be the Owen Glyndŵr or the hero, but I could happily just be the cheerful monk who follows him around, pissed up, and giving him big jugs of clay pots of wine.
I would take up religion if there was a position that was just actually, you can be a big fat fucker and you just drink and brew ale all the time. I'd be like, yeah, make me a friar. I'll do that. Yeah, I fucking love God. I'm in. But yeah, that's all I got. But,
sweet. Well, I've got some stuff then.
I was going to say you've got a couple of little factoids for us, don't you?
Yeah. So I visited a small little website you might not have heard of called BBC or something like that.
Bubaka.
Bubaka, yeah, the old Bubaka have they did something on the 900th anniversary of St. David, Dewi Sant. And like you mentioned before, you might not, they're not sure when he lived. Some say he lived for more than 100 years, and he died on March the 1st, 1589, hence St. David's Day. Though, but they also think he could have been born between 462 or 515 AD. And apparently, ooh, spooky, he was born in a storm.
Ooh.
Bollocks! It's like
yeah.
So apparently,
it's like when the murder one we did, when apparently the the shovel hit the ground when they dug him up, and it was like,
yeah.
then the lightning struck and the thunder. You know, it's like such rubbish.
So his mother, this is my favourite Welsh name, Non. I like Non.
Non.
Hiya, Non. It's such a mum's name. Hiya, Mam. Hiya, Non.
Yeah.
Non gave birth on a cliff top in Pembrokeshire during a fierce storm, and at that exact moment, a bolt of lightning from heaven hit her fanny. No, it hit a rock, splitting it in two, and a nearby.
I'm reading this from the website right now. Hit her fanny, they said.
So it struck the rock, split it in two, and then a nearby holy well is said to have healing powers. That's just a throwaway comment at the end. You mentioned his royal heritage being his grandfather was King Ceredig, founder of Ceredigion, and Non was a nun who later canonised herself, which sounds like she committed suicide by canon. Shot her head off.
I'm afraid I have committed canonization fairly well.
She
Bang.
lit the cannon and had to run all the way around to the front so it blows her head off.
In this sketch, it's a comically large cannon as well. Ooh, keep missing the shot.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Oh, Non.
He headlined Glasgow. Apparently, he was educated at a monastery and became a missionary spreading Christianity. Dewi was a renowned preacher, founding monasteristic settlements and churches in Wales, Brittany and south of England that you mentioned. And he visited Glastonbury to rededicate the abbey and donate a travelling altar that included a great sapphire, pinched 1,000 years later.
Well.
And like he said,
first gig at Glasgow.
Yeah, first big gig at Glasgow on the pyramid stage. So the cathedral in St David's is sick. It's fucking massive, and the town itself, the city itself, is really small. It's like the UK's smallest city, isn't it? Because it's got a cathedral.
Yeah, it's a nice little city to visit for anyone looking to do so. Very pretty.
Tiny.
Got lots of little Welshy things to do as well.
It's really nice on the beach, like really nice beaches down there. So apparently the stone, when he pilgrimaged to Jerusalem, and he stole a rock like a little fucking classic Welsh lad that he is, and he brought this rock back, and that rock now sits at the altar of St David's Cathedral.
I don't know if we can cut this if this is going to overstep on one of your facts, but I read somewhere that apparently they count it if you do 2 pilgrimages to St David's, it counts as 1 pilgrimage to Jerusalem.
Oh no, I didn't know that. But it depends where from.
Yeah, apparently so.
If you're
well, this is what I was thinking, because if I go to St David's twice, that's a piece of piss.
Yeah.
Well, he's going once to Jerusalem.
Yeah, if you're from like Freshwater in West Wales, you go there every fucking week.
I just heard that on the. It was on the news because they did something with St David's. I can't remember what it was, and there was a woman talking about it, and she sounded like she knew what she was on about, and she said that, and then I thought that question exactly.
So you mentioned I haven't got that one by the way, and but the next one I had was he was a teetotal vegetarian, like you mentioned.
Virgin.
I went some the other day and I found out like way people in the UK wouldn't have had potatoes during any of the Middle Ages. They came from the New World and like American stuff. They came back from there. So I always think they'd be eating like I always used to think, well, life would be shit, but you could probably make chips, but apparently you couldn't.
You still have some roasties on a Sunday.
Yeah.
No taters.
They said here he had a strict diet where he and his monks would only eat. They had a austere life, living off only leeks and water, which I think's bollocks for the BBC. You're not just having leeks; you're fucking dead within the week. So
So all the Welsh used to have is to drink leeks and water and shag the sheep, and we get your fucking angle, BBC.
Fuck off, BBC, you fucking Tory.
I found to circle back. Pope Calixtus II was the one, and he said that the shrine in St David's was so important. 2 pilgrimages to St David's were the equivalent of 1 to Rome. Sorry, my mistake. And 3 to St David's were the equivalent of 1 to Jerusalem. That's still pretty good going if you live in Wales, you know.
So I didn't read all these things, and apparently I'm about to get to that one now.
Brilliant!
Yeah, he was a celebrity of the Middle Ages. He's the patron saint of Wales since the 12th century, and at a time when there were more than 60 churches in Wales dedicated to him. His shrine was so important that Pope Callisticus II said 2 pilgrimage is worth 1. 2 in the ends with 1 in the bush. And and yeah, apparently Vikings regularly raided the cathedral while the shrine was stripped of its jewel during the Reformation of the 16th century. So Vikings would always fuck up his cathedral, which is annoying. But, you can't blame the lads.
Vikings going to Viking, isn't they? That's the thing.
Yeah. And then his legacy lives on is the final thing. His last words to his followers came from a sermon he gave on the previous Sunday. He said, "Be joyful, keep the faith, and do the little things that you've heard and seen me do when." Which, I'll say that again in an easier voice. Be joyful, keep the faith, and do the little things you've heard and seen me do. That's quite nice. Do the little things you've heard and seen me do. And that phrase, "Gwnewch y pethau bychan," which is do the little things, is still well known in Wales today. So it's do the little things. Like, give us your money.
Just give us some fucking money. Do the little things for us, mate.
Yeah. So that's the facts.
That's the facts. That's St. David's. That's Dewi, Sant.
Yeah, and wrap that up in pretty much under just around half an hour. So I gotta go bye.
Yeah, see ya.
We're really enjoying the pod at the moment, and we always have. I think we're having really nice interactions with you maniacs, and we're looking at getting some merch and stuff because some other people have mentioned that as well. And just keep if you could share it with your mates, that'd be really appreciative. We want to grow this odd community as far as we can.
Yeah, we're hitting a really good stride at the moment, aren't we? And it's, like you said, it's nice to talk to people who actually like what we're putting out. God help them, but still, thank you very much. And it's just nice to have that little back and forth and get on a bit of a roll.
Diolch anyway. So I'm gonna go now. Bye. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, diolch all.
Oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. Oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. Gwisgwch gennym peder hardd, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Gwisgwch gennym peder hardd, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. O, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dewch I ddathlu blant, gweithwch hip hip hwrre, hwrre. O, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dewch I ddathlu blant, gweithwch hip hip hwrre, hwrre. Bwyta piciau ar y maen, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Bwyta piciau ar y maen, dydd gwl Dewi Sant, dydd gwl Dewi Sant. Oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. Oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. Oggy, oi, oggy, oi. Oggy, 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 oi, oi.